Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I know I haven't posted on here in a long time, but the divisional round did just finish up, so I do have to talk about it. I do apologize. I have been greatly crammed by a lot of things, so I haven't been able to get on here as much, but I'm going to see if I can. I found a little bit of time today, and then I'm going to find whatever time I can later on down the line to hopefully do so. But today, I'm going to be talking about the NFL divisional round. On Saturday, we had the 1 seeds take on their lesser seeded opponents. And on Sunday, we had the remaining conquistadors take on their opponents. So let's get into all of these matchups. First, we had probably the game of the weekend, unless you want to count Chicago, LA, but I personally prefer this one. Denver, Buffalo. This game wasn't crazy. Don't get me started. So we go into Denver, the 1 seed, but they're not necessarily the favorites. We have a lot of people coming into the game saying it's Josh Allen against a young Broncos team. The Bills are obviously going to take this one and run off in the wind. If I look at the predictions on my sports gambling app, 71% of voters picked Buffalo to win this game. All 29% picked Denver. Now, that's pretty substantial because Denver is the 1 seed, and I think that's the most important thing. Denver is the number 1 seed, and the Buffalo Bills are number 6. And you still have them winning 71%. So that really shows just how good this Bills team was. But we get into this game, and Josh Allen, listen, he's a great dude, and I feel bad for the guy. And he said that he let his team down. This is what his final stat line was. He was 25 for 39, 283 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 90 passer rating. Now, on paper, that's not that bad because you see, okay, 2 interceptions, not great. But when they occurred is the most important thing. The first one allowed 3 free points to the Broncos at the end of the half, which is how much they lost by. And the second one was on a end game trying to win the game attempt. That was debatable, but I think if you look at it close enough, there's no way in the world Brandon Cooks caught that football. And people were saying the very next day that there was one that the Devontae Adams caught that they ruled a catch that was like, oh, that shouldn't count because you looked at the Brandon Cooks one and that was looked the exact same, but they ruled it a catch and then not a catch. They were very different. Brandon Cooks kind of had it, never got his knee down, and then it went out of his hands. Meanwhile, Devontae had it in his hands, got his knee down, and then it got out of his hands. For example, on my team, my actual team that I play for, we had a play kind of similar to this against one of our opponents. Our running back, he ran like a big run, and right at the end, he got tackled, got his knee all the way down to the ground, but because of how he was tackled, the ball just went flying out, and everyone scrambled to go get it, but the refs were blowing the whistle because they just saw his knee touch down. And it was very similar, and I'm sure the other team was very disappointed by this. We still blew them out. But either way, it was a pretty good game between Denver and Buffalo. Obviously, it's going into overtime, which makes it even better. They also played the how much can we turn the ball over game, but Will Lutz ended up kicking the game-winning field goal to make it 33-30 in Denver's favor. The other matchup from the day, the NFC 1 seed, was not as close, I must say. So San Francisco going into Seattle, you would think, oh, that should be a hotly contested battle. 2 very good teams. San Francisco was without a lot of guys, and they're always out of so many people. They're always injured, and this is where it shows. Seattle scored on the opening kickoff. They scored 7 points. They scored the touchdown. They scored an extra point. On the opening kickoff, 13 seconds into the game. Had they not scored another point, they would have won the game because San Francisco only put up 6 points. But no, Seattle bothered to put up 41. But this was a complete domination. And 41 points, all the while, Sam Darnold passed for 124 yards and 1 passing touchdown. They rely a lot on their defense and special teams, if you couldn't tell. They also rely on Kenneth Walker, who had 145 yards for 3 touchdowns on 19 carries, which was very impressive. But Seattle just demolished San Francisco. When you see Denver have a close game against, Buffalo, who is objectively a good team, but a lower seed, you think, oh, maybe this shows some signs of instability. Maybe they might not succeed in the future. Seattle did not have that against San Francisco because they demolished San Francisco from start to finish. So I have full confidence in Seattle to make the Super Bowl. But then again, they do have one more team to run through, and that is the LA Rams, who defeated the Chicago Bears the next day, also in overtime. This was a really good game. I don't know if I would prefer this one or Buffalo Denver. I think I would prefer Buffalo Denver personally, because it just meant more, I guess. You know how you sometimes have you have your main team, but you have a couple side teams that you don't really care for them, but if they're doing well, you root for them. It's low key me with Bo Nix and Denver. I don't know why. I just tend to like Denver and Seattle when it comes to alternate sports teams, because those are I don't know why. They're far enough away from where I am that I don't really get impacted by them all that much. So it's not like I'm going to be constantly, clashing. Like the Wizards are not playing the Nuggets all the time. But at the same time, it's oh, that team did well. And then I actually kind of follow their stats. So I'm getting off on a tangent here. But the LA Rams went into Chicago and took down the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams, I mean, for Iceman, he had an amazing game and a terrible game at the exact same time. 257 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 3 interceptions to come along with a 59 rating. Now, the rating's terrible, but when you come down to the very end of the game, and let me pull this up, 14-yard touchdown catch with 27 seconds left in the game on 4th down. This throw was, I know it says 14 yards. This throw was 40 because the Bears' offensive line collapsed. And so Caleb is scrambling 20 yards back and just hurls one, hoping someone's there. And Cole Kmet ended up finding it for the touchdown. Went to overtime, and then they turned it over again because Caleb threw an interception and immediately sold his team's chances of winning. Then Harrison Mevis just kicked the game-winning field goal. Fun fact, Harrison Mevis, since signing with the Rams, has missed 1 field goal all season. I found that to be a quite interesting statistic, especially when you look at the guy, you think there's no chance that guy's a good kicker because he's bigger. But to each their own. And this was a really good win for the Rams. They will end up facing Seattle in an NFC West clash in the NFC Championship game. Who's going to win? I am more inclined to say Seattle. I think the Rams have a great team, but I think Seattle has a better one. Unless the Rams can score points off of turnovers, we will see. But the other game was the Patriots and the Texans. Now, if this game was happening 10 years ago, everybody and their mother would be rooting for the Texans. But because people like to hate on Cj Stroud, some people were rooting for the Patriots, and it's, I guess, been so long since the Patriots were good that there are certain fans who don't know about when the Patriots were good, like the 7 and 8-year-olds. They're like, oh, yeah, the Patriots, they've been terrible for such a long time. I know they won a few Super Bowls with Tom Brady, but that's about it. And then the Patriots came in and, to be perfectly frank with you, demolished the Houston Texans. It's only a 12-point game statistically. Cj Stroud, bro. I don't even know what to say. 20 for 47 for 212 yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 interceptions while taking 3 sacks. I'm pretty sure he had 2 or 3 fumbles as well. This was one of the worst playoff performances I've ever seen. And I mean, I combined that with the previous one against Pittsburgh. He had 4 fumbles. He had 2 fumbles against Pittsburgh on 3 sacks. He threw an interception. And then last night he had 3 sacks, somehow didn't lose any fumbles, although I severely doubt that, and then 4 interceptions. So he becomes the first player in NFL postseason history to have 5 fumbles and 5 interceptions in the same postseason. You know how when he and Bryce Young were drafted, there were a lot of discussions that were like, oh, yeah, obviously, as we've seen, Cj Stroud is the best between the two. What were the Panthers thinking drafting Bryce Young? I think we have now seen that if I take these 2 lollipops that I conveniently have on my desk, if this red one is Cj Stroud and this yellow one is Bryce Young, this is how they've gone. CJ popped off rookie year and then just ever since completely declining. Like there's nothing. Like where did it go? Where did that like shocking athleticism and speed and deep ball ability go? It's just not as there anymore. It's just them relying on their defense because their offense can't do anything. And that's not to say they don't have good weapons. Like Woody Marks is a good rookie. Nico Collins is good before he got his concussion. Like all of their receiving core is great. What is going on? But it's besides my point. The Patriots won. They're going to go take on the Broncos. And the part I haven't mentioned yet, and probably the funniest part of this entire thing, and I'm going to make a whole video separately on this, the Denver Broncos starting quarterback, the AFC Championship game, one win away from the Super Bowl, Jarrett Stidham. I am so excited to see Jarrett Stidham in the AFC Championship game. Now, there have been a lot of memes saying that they should sign Phillip Rivers or sign Cam Newton or sign this, that, and the other guy to replace them. Give it to Jarrett. Give it to Jarrett Stidham, who hasn't started a game since 2023. Give it to Jarrett Stidham, who has played one snap all season, has not thrown a pass, and becomes the first and only quarterback, most likely as long as he doesn't get injured, in NFL history to be the AFC Championship game or later starter without having thrown a pass in the regular season. I am so excited to see what happens in the AFC Championship game because we could see New England come in, just win, simple as that. And everyone would probably be disappointed, unless the Patriots fans. But more crucially, we could see Jarrett Stidham just take helm of this Broncos team and manufacture a glorious win. And that, in my mind, would be the best thing in the world. Because that would just be magnificent for all involved. But that's my take. I think that if we go through the four winners, I think that the team with the highest chance to win is probably the Seahawks. And then at the bottom is, unfortunately, those Broncos. I do have a lot of trust in Jarrett Stidham, but he has not established himself yet, so I can't necessarily say that yet. Although to a degree you could then say the Rams, because I think the Seahawks have the most, and they're playing the Rams. So you would then theoretically say that the Rams must have the least. But that's besides this very complicated argument. In the middle, I think the Patriots probably have the higher odds between them and the Rams. So just in that order: Seahawks, Patriots, Rams, Broncos. Now, I would love to see a Seahawks-Broncos Super Bowl. Will that happen? I doubt it, but we will see. What occurs next weekend with that, and then the weekend after with the Pro Bowl, and then the weekend after with the actual Super Bowl itself, again, we will cover in greater detail at a later date. But that's about everything. I think I've covered everything from the weekend, other than the losing teams. I vaguely addressed them. The Texans need to fix their offense in some way, shape, or form. The Bears, a very good, solid season. Probably just need some more O-line. And I just blanked on what the other thing was that I just had in my head. Yeah, I'll think of it later. But if you watch the Bears, you'll figure it out eventually. The 49ers, they had a good team. They just got hurt, and I don't think there's really anything they could have done about that. So massive props to them. But again, what were they going to do about it? And then Buffalo, I don't even know what to do if you're Buffalo. Like, are you going to Phillip Rivers this and just let him keep going without winning anything? Other than an MVP, of course. Like, how are we going to, are you going to let him stay? Are you going to think about trading him? I doubt it. I severely doubt it. But, I wouldn't say that it is on the table. But I think the idea of it is brewing, maybe. But, just getting started. The water's just boiling. We're not even, no ingredients have been added. The water is just boiling for Josh Allen trade rumors. But I do not think that's going to happen. But, you never know. The NFL is a crazy place. Jarrett Stidham's in the AFC Championship game. But that's all I have to say. Make sure to enjoy those championship games next weekend. See if I can remember my spiel at the end. It's been a minute. Have a good day, good evening, good night, good morning, good dawn, good dusk, whatever. Make sure to watch any former or future videos on the channel. I'm shocked I remembered that.